want your learners to be reflective, critical thinkers, right? Assigning journals in online courses can be a great tool to encourage this. First of all, what are journals and why should you use them? In this video, I'll start by giving you a bit of background, some examples of how journals are used in online learning, and how to use the journal tool in Blackboard. For centuries, journals have been used to record the thoughts of mankind. Journaling is an essential activity in higher education for many reasons. In addition to allowing the learner to record their experiences, it provides them with the opportunity to reflect on how they are learning and developing. Journals have also been used in higher ed for autobiographical accounts, as well as collecting data in qualitative research. Boud identifies 3 occasions for reflection with journals. First, in an anticipation of an event or activity, the learner can reflect on themselves as learners, the context of the event, skills required, and strategies for learning. Next, reflective journaling can happen amidst action through noticing, intervening, and reflection in action. Finally, learners can think about their experience after an event by reliving it, being aware of their affect, and reevaluating the experience. Boud also notes 2 factors that inhibit reflection. These are audience and assessment. Not knowing in advance who will have access to the journal or how it will be graded can severely limit a student's ability to provide thoughtful commentary. Several types of reflective writing have been categorized by Phipps. Reflection on action refers to contemplating better ways of implementing what the student has already done or observed, or analyzing what was done and why it was successful. With deliberative reflection, the learner determines the best solution in a specific situation, explaining the reasoning used during the decision-making process. Personal reflection encourages learners to examine motives related to their worldview, ethical behaviors, and basic beliefs about who they are and what they want to become. Critical reflection is the highest form of reflection because it allows participants to question current rules and procedures and challenge the status quo. Journaling can easily be tied to Chickering and Gamson's 7 Principles of Good Practice in Undergraduate Education, a cornerstone of higher education pedagogy for more than 20 years. Online journals provide the perfect opportunity to develop a relationship between the student and the faculty. Journaling can provide a voice to those who are reluctant to share ideas with their peers, giving students the opportunity to share concerns or ideas about readings, assignments, or course improvement that would otherwise go unsaid. Personalized feedback to learners promotes student motivation and development. When students practice reflective writing, they are active participants in the process of learning, thinking critically about the content and reconsolidating new understandings. Using the journaling tool in Blackboard facilitates prompt feedback with its ease of use. It is important to be comprehensive in initial feedback, but not every post requires a response. Since this is very personal writing for the learner, it is important to keep the tone of the communication as positive and encouraging as possible. Composing journal entries online increases time on task by making writing more efficient and easier to read. Legibility is not an issue. High expectations are communicated in the way instructors convey information, in the tone of correspondence, and by example. Students meet these expectations when they perceive that the faculty member is genuinely concerned about their personal academic achievement. Providing supportive feedback in a journal encourages this. Reflective writing might be a new mode of learning to many students. Journaling allows for a wide variety in the composition, structure, and content of the entries. Journaling does not promote interaction or cooperation with other students, as it is private communication between the student and teacher. However, the use of journals should not replace discussion, interaction, and collaboration with peers. So, how do you get started? Let's look at assigning journals in Blackboard, including planning, setup, and implementation. In the planning stage, it is important to first identify the instructional need for a journal assignment. Where are there opportunities for reflective writing in the curriculum? Where does this fit best? What type of reflective writing is appropriate for the content? Reflection on action or reflection on decision-making? You will also need to determine how you will assess the journals. Will you grade individual entries, and what criteria will you use? Or will you award a point for each completed entry? Finally, Decide ahead of time the type of feedback you will provide to learners. It's best to start with more intensive feedback to set the tone and develop a relationship with your learner, then scale back to manage the workload. Once you have made these choices, you can go to Blackboard to set up the journal assignment. In your control panel, go to Tools and select Journals. Click the Create button, enter a title and instructions, then choose options like grading. Finally, you're ready to implement the journal. Begin by assigning this to students, making your expectations explicit. Monitor student activity, grading if necessary, and provide prompt and meaningful feedback. Let's see what this looks like on your screen. On the Course Tools menu, locate Journals. This loads the Journal Tool page, listing all of the journals you have already created. To get started, click the Create Journal button. On the Create Journal page, enter an assignment name and provide instructions in the space provided. Scroll down to select availability or dates. If the learner will be maintaining a journal with multiple entries, you'll want to choose how these entries are indexed. Finally, select a grading option and click Submit. If you choose to grade the journal, there are additional fields for input. Enter the possible points and, if desired, select a rubric. In this case, a reflective writing rubric is used for grading so that students can clearly see by which criteria their entries are judged. To provide feedback to a student entry, you can use the comment feature. The student's post is visible on the screen, and by clicking the comment button, you will be able to type feedback directly below in the comment box. You can also provide feedback through the grading process. In the pane on the right side of the screen are the journal details showing the name of the student you are currently grading. For your reference, the instructions are visible on the screen along with the student response. Move between student entries by using the left and right arrows. Enter a numeric grade in the score box and provide additional feedback in the space provided. If there are multiple entries for this journal, they will be listed below in the index. For more information about using journals in higher education, you can read these resources that were referenced in this video. Journals are a powerful tool for meaningful student-constructed knowledge and provide an excellent opportunity to develop a supportive relationship between the student and teacher. Get started now. Visit the Blackboard help pages for additional instructions or contact the Instructional Development Team at University College for support.